You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who, deep in thought, nearly trip over pixies, delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who, deep in thought, nearly trip over pixies, delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who, deep in thought, nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein.
Welcome, everyone, to, I'm probably on the wrong mic, but I'm Simon at Wandering DM. I am just, running all over the place today. Welcome to our Season 3 finale of Castle Falkenstein, where I will reprise my role of Professor Edwin Thayer. I was going to say doctor, but he really does not have a PhD. And before we introduce our cast for tonight, let's just thank all of our sponsors very quickly, beginning with Artalsorian Games, the makers of Castle Falkenstein. You can check them out at artalsoriangames.com. They also make Cyberpunk, which we play here on Wandering DM, and The Witcher, which we've played here a lot, and that I've played in last Saturday, well, 2 days ago on Deirdre's channel. You might want to check that out. Our other sponsor is Roll20, the virtual platform that we use here for all of our shows. Check it out at roll20.net. Of course, let's not forget Magehand Press, makers of 5th edition D&D supplements. Check them out at store.magehandpress.com. And Found Familiar, the coffee company. They've just released a new brand, I guess, taste of coffee. I don't know how. Anyway. Beans, I guess. I'm gonna test it out. A new roast. Thank you. Which I will test out next week, and I'll let you all know what it is. But apparently, it has a taste of berries. So, that said, without further ado, let's go around the table, introduce our cast, and get this finale going. Hi, Adriana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adriana, but tonight I'll be Ekaterina von Stein. We both use she, they pronouns, and yeah, that's me.
And right next to Ekaterina on the overlay is Kenny. I almost called you by your character's name.
Hello, my name is Kenny, and I play Jasser Ferrit Tragosian, also who is Amor Protego, and my pronouns are he, they, and their pronouns are they, them.
Up next is Pooja.
Hi, I'm Pooja, and I'm playing Elise St. Pierre, and both of our pronouns are she, her.
As usual, we'll skip over our host and go straight to Deirdre.
Hey y'all, I'm Deirdre and I get to play La Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Ferravanti, and we both use she, her pronouns.
And lastly, our host for tonight, Chris Geary, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone, I should say. I shouldn't say ladies and gentlemen anymore. That doesn't work. So, Chris Geary, everyone! Yay!
Thank you, Simon, and welcome everyone to the finale of Season 3 of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. I am your host for the evening, and if we remember correctly, last episode, our cast made their way to dinner on the Isle of San Clemente, with a short stopover to get Professor Thayer something more fashionable that the Contessa would actually want to be seen in public with him in, from one of her favorite tailors. After the fashion show and a few personal orders for Ekaterina von Stein, they made their way by boat, where they shared a few thoughts, they learned a few things, and they came to a few conclusions. It was too early for dinner when they arrived, so they took drinks and stared out onto the water to see the houseboat of one Cora Eid. Wanting to know more, but not having any way to gain that information immediately, one by one, they decided to walk the grounds. First, Elise and Ekaterina made their way through the grounds towards a small chapel that was being renovated, followed by Professor Thayer and the Contessa, who took in the sights and looked to see what may be on the horizon. Their newest guest, one who for now calls herself Misty, Ekaterina's mother, was escorted by the fair Josser as they spoke of things crossing the veil. At the chapel, Elise and Ekaterina met Father Vladimir Korsakov and his young ward, a burly and innocent-speaking but curious sort, who were driving a very large vehicle that seemed quite out of place on such a small island. Once all of the supplies were unloaded, and the cast made their way back to their, toward the restaurant, they were interrupted by a loud explosion from the houseboat that they sought. That is where we left, with the Contessa and Professor Thayer making their way into the restaurant after a figure that the Contessa spotted out of place. Elise and Josser made their way back toward the chapel, for the large truck mysteriously disappeared. And Ekaterina and her mother both took wing as dragons in their truest form and flew swiftly to the burning vessel. We pick up tonight at that moment. Ekaterina coming in low, her mother circling a little higher, attempting to make her daughter look more like her own shadow, playing tricks on the eyes of those who might be looking on. A message in your mind, Ekaterina? Are you going to check for survivors or for the invention?
Before I answer, does the boat, is it just one part of the boat that exploded, or is it just all in shambles?
The boat itself seems to have exploded basically the entire deck in the center of it. The bow and stern are mostly intact. The sides are cracked in some places, taking on water in others, but it seems to be floating fairly well. It's at least not sinking quickly. What you can see nearest you, which would be the stern of the ship, there is a figure slumped over the side. But she or they are wrapped in shadow from the fire that backlights them and burns throughout the ship.
She'll reply back, "You search for your friend. If they're alive or dead, they won't want this and their knowledge to be put into the wrong hands. If the people searching for this are ready to kill for it, then we have to stop that."
So you're going below deck?
Yes.
Stay low. Enter through the side. I will land and take most of the attention.
Thank you, Mother.
Be quick, though. We don't have much time.
Quick and swift as I can be.
Why don't you describe for the audience the display of aerial acrobatics that you put on as you make your way across the surface of the water and find purchase into the hold of the bolt?
She sorry. They don't put on a attention grabbing display knowing that they have to be quick and as unseen as a giant dragon can be. So for a while they keep flying under their mother's shadow and skirt the water. So they kind of dive down, straight down for a while, and come back upright as they skirt the water, looking for a way in from the side. And go ahead.
You quickly notice that there is kind of a U-shaped gouge on the side of the boat in which you approach. It doesn't quite dip below the water. As the boat rocks every once in a while, water laps inside. But fire is what kind of has replaced that wall.
Well, I'm a fucking dragon and fire doesn't do much for me. So she's going to, because it doesn't hit the water, she's going to, in her dragon form, fly straight for that shape, and just as they're about to touch the boat, try and switch shapes to land inside.
Okay. Why don't you give me a sorcery?
Ooh, I'm good at that.
Mhm.
Sorcery is, let me double check. A diamond. Do I have diamonds?
You also, I believe, still have one lucky 7.
I believe so.
Or at least one. Somebody had
Uh,
multiples, but I thought you still had one.
I think I didn't use my last one because I think we got 2 last. Let me double check. I'm reloading Roll20 because the icons of the cards aren't showing in.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't see my deck. It's like you get that broken picture.
Yeah, that was my
Oh.
problem, and I had to switch browsers.
Wow. Ah,
sure.
damn
Arg.
it,
Yeah,
Edge.
I have broken
Um,
images too, so I'm about to switch.
If you just
browsers.
let me know if you can see it, if I have diamonds.
I can't see your deck. I can't see your hand either.
Let me see.
All right, trying to switch browsers.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So, while
Mhm.
you're doing that, let us move to the restaurant. The Contessa and the professor are making their way inside.
Yep. I grabbed the professor's hand and was pulling him along with me as I was following the individual who obviously shouldn't have been there because, he didn't look like he belonged. All of these things. Also, there was a dinghy that was kind of just sitting there, and it looks like he may have come from the dinghy, so I don't know. Following them at
Okay.
speed.
All right. Are you going to go through the busy restaurant, or are you going to try and find a way around? You don't know if that figure has exited. You do know that they entered the main part of the estate.
But they've exited the restaurant.
Yes. But you don't know if they've exited like to the outside. They went through the area that goes directly into the estate.
I mean, the Contessa is noticeable, and it isn't like all of dinner services going, so sucks to be you. Get out of her way.
Okay. So
Path of least resistance at the moment.
yeah, no, that works. Let's go with how about some social graces to see how quickly people get out of your way?
Social graces. Of course, the one I don't have. I'm going to use my one of my lucky 7s on that,
Okay.
and her social graces are good.
Okay. So that'll be a 13.
Yeah, it's the one suit I don't have.
You'll have a +2 before and after the break tonight.
Oh yes, so I will use that +2 now.
Okay.
So
and
plus
go to a
9.
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
15.
So
And I mean, she cuts a very strong figure in that black dress.
that is true. Professor Thayer, what are you doing as you are being summoned?
If I recall correctly,
I think you're muted.
You're very quiet.
That's not supposed to be. What's
It's
going
weird
on?
because we can still hear you a little bit.
I was picking you up off a different mic, I think.
Yeah.
Y'all are supposed to be on my regular mic. Hello?
Well.
Hello?
Oh dear.
Nope. Now I don't hear anything.
Yeah?
There's something.
But it's like
Soft.
not the mic
Hello?
you're talking into.
There you go.
Oh,
Is it the mic I'm talking into?
Yeah.
I think now
we
it
can
is.
hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, the strangest thing just happened. I think all gain on my mic decided to give out. The gain is in the maximum right now. And, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
It's what... At max, it's exactly what it was, last week. whereas I'm normally on the minimum. So I think my mic might be dying.
Oh. Well, we can have a funeral for it later.
Yes. But I believe that, and it's what one thing at a time. Earlier, I asked while I was muted, do I also need to draw, or can I follow in the Contessa's wake?
You can follow in the Contessa's wake without trouble.
Okay, then that is what I will do.
Okay, excellent. All right, then. So, is there anything you want to do while you are following in the Contessa's wake?
Take a look around. I want to see who's moving out of our way because they don't really know what's going on and they're as surprised as, anyone would be following an explosion. And who's moving out of our way because they are acting kind of sus.
Okay. At this point, you have some people that are, trying to figure out what's going on with the explosion. So you have some gawkers. You have some people that are moving out of the way because, the Contessa. And then the only person that you note that seemed to be moving somewhat suspect is the... you catch just the back glimpse of a silhouette that ducks into a doorway, and it seems to be the direction, or through a doorway, it seems to be the direction that the Contessa is headed.
Then, I'll just follow in that case. Keep an eye out and follow.
Okay. Now, do we have access to cards yet? Because I can't seem... Okay, good.
I have mine.
Excellent.
Yeah, moving to Edge helped.
So,
Something you never thought you'd say.
we're going to
All right.
cut back to the dragons and then over to Elise and Jasser.
So, my sorcery's good, but I would still like to play the 7
Ah,
that I have.
excellent. And so that's a 13.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have a Deuce's Wild for both before and after.
Seems like I'm gonna have to do some snooping, so I'm gonna save it for my snooping.
Okay. It is actually enough as is. You make the change just a bit before, but not so much that you miss anything, but enough that if someone had the exact right angle and was watching for it, they might notice that you changed shape. Now, you don't know if anyone's out there at that angle and actually was paying attention, because that angle would have been past the chapel toward the far shore, probably somewhere that none of you have even looked. So they would have probably had a spyglass as well to get the proper angle.
This is all very specific, and I'm concerned.
That's one of the lovely parts about my role. So inside, you find yourself in a boat that is ablaze. You landed in actually the laboratory coming up on the side that you did. There seems to be a locked case that's built into the floor. Did you bring the key with you, or like on a chain around your neck or anything like that? Or did you leave it behind?
I should have kept it in her pocket.
Mm,
She's a hoarder after all.
You did have to leave your clothing behind.
No, she put it back. Oh, wait. Oh. I'm naked.
Because if you change shape, you would have torn it all to shreds.
Ooh. I mean, it's up to you if you would let me say I have it on a necklace, but honestly, she would have had it in a pocket. So
In a pocket? Okay.
yeah.
So, what do you do?
When I have one use for the professor, he's not here. All right.
One use.
How is this installed into the floor?
Yes, it seems to be like part of the floor. It's just like a hatch that's
Okay.
bolted all over the floor.
Does it look like I can break this lock in any way, shape, or form?
Potentially. I mean, if you had the right lever or tools, and you are in a burning laboratory.
She looks around the laboratory. Would I be able to find something here to just kind of...
What is your base perception?
My base perception is good.
Your base perception is good.
Mhm.
You let me see. I am going to leave it up to the deck. I'm going to draw one card. Hearts is hell yes, you find something.
Oh no.
Diamonds is you find something that should work. Clubs is you're going to probably have to do something to make it happen. Or it doesn't really matter because it's a joker. So divine intervention. You kind of like turn around and put your hand on the table behind you. And it seems that Cora left her key.
Oh, well, that's quite useful.
Yes. So you have a key.
I have a key and I have a lock, so I'm going to put that key into that lock and open it.
Okay. You put the key into the lock and it opens just perfectly. Inside, what you find is actually a device that is dormant. It is not running. You can see from your angle and the firelight, which gives you, some really good light at this moment. A number of gears. They are some form of, is it bronze? Is it gold? No. You're pretty sure that is orichalcum, and it has a variety of different levers and arms and these cylinders that are glass. No, that is some form of molded crystal. And inside of them are different liquids. And there are 3 of them in total. And it looks like this device spins, and then so it's 2 on the outside, 1 in the center. The center one is slightly larger. It seems like this device spins and combines the 2 liquids from the outer ones into whatever's in the center one, and from there it creates some sort of combustion. That would be your guess at this point, if it is the thing that creates fire that can burn underwater.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure how much of the outer housing is necessary if you want to try and salvage the device. But you're pretty sure, because your base invention is great, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You're pretty sure that you could remove the central core without too much trouble. But you wouldn't know whether or not it is complete.
How big is this invention?
The central core of it, if you were to pull it, it would be, what's a good comparison? It would be about the size of a medium to large duffel bag, so about 14 to 18 inches in diameter and about 2.5 feet in length.
Okay, so. But I get the feeling that the most important part of this is the core.
That has the most complicated pieces. You
Mhm.
just have no, from what you can see, there's obviously something that is below. If you wanted to try and go to the deck below the laboratory and see what else is down there, you might find that there's more to it than that. But from your vantage point, this is the core mechanism that you believe is connected to this device. However, you're doing all this hastily in the midst of a
Yeah.
burning ship. So,
Yeah. She did say go below deck.
mm-hmm,
So she will go. She will lock it again.
mm-hmm.
She doesn't have anywhere to put the key, but she'll keep the key.
Okay.
uh, and go below deck.
Okay. So you're going to go another level below.
Yeah.
Because you're already technically below deck. You came
Okay.
in
Through
the
the side of
first
the ship.
through
Okay.
the side of the ship. So, but the way that this ship is set out, there's at least one more level below you.
Okay. She is going to. I know it's a burning ship.
Mm-hmm.
She's a dragon. The fire doesn't bother her that much. Does she? If I play a card, if I say invention or tinkering, would
Mhm.
I be able to know if I would be able to recreate this with the core?
I would say probably at this point you're going to want to go with invention because there are still a number of unknowns. So you would still have to design whatever's missing.
Let me. Oh god, I have so many tabs. Invention is diamonds. Okay, I
Diamonds.
played my
Mhm.
diamond, but I my invention is great, and I'll use my deuces as wild.
Okay. Does that mean that you didn't have a lucky 7 as well?
I think I already used my lucky 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be a 10.
Mhm.
You don't know, but if Cora is alive, you're pretty sure she could.
Okay. She will then, because it is a burning ship, she will then take the core.
Okay.
Because even if she can't reinvent it,
Mhm.
she's going to assume that whoever either wants to destroy it and wants it can't reinvent it without the core either.
True.
So she's gonna start just as carefully as possible. They're going to start removing the core.
Okay. So we're going to move to the chapel area. Elise, Jasser, you find yourself at the chapel. The workers that were there are all kind of like slack-jawed at the coast, looking out at the ship, trying to figure out what just happened. None of them seem to even turn when you guys approach.
Is there any immediate indication of where the car might have gone? Or was it a van, a truck, a car?
It was a heavy duty truck,
A
like
truck. Okay, yeah,
transport
where the
truck.
truck might have gone.
I mean, there's a road that leads away from the chapel.
Like, are there tracks on it?
It's cobblestone.
There's cobblestone. Okay. Because it got out of there really fast.
Mhm.
So I will tell Amor. I think last time we told everybody who we ran into, right?
No.
Oh, we did it? Okay.
Didn't have a chance.
Didn't have a chance, right. Okay, let me pick up my notes. I remember names.
You mentioned that you were going to tell them at dinner, and then there was an explosion.
Elise will turn to Amor and say, there was a truck here with 2 holy men in it, and one of them was Father Korsakov from the Promethean Society, and I don't know. I saw him wave his arm when right when the explosion happened, and then when I looked back, the truck was gone.
A moment, you said Father Korsakov.
Yeah, I believe y'all said he was with the Promethean Society when it came up earlier.
Oh, although if he is here, there is a lot more going on. And the truck, it just vanished.
But yeah, I turned when the explosion happened to look at the water, and when I turned back, it was just gone, and it was very large, and I don't know how fast those things can go, but I don't think it can go that fast.
The last time we saw him, time stood still. We lost some time. Do you have anything in your pockets?
Just I opened like regular lady stuff of the time.
Do you have a watch?
And coin purse.
A comb? I don't know. Some hairpins. I'm
There.
sure hairpins.
Makeup.
I think Jasser would look at their
Ooh, my golden fish scale. I do have that.
Mm-hmm.
Does everything look the same as you recognize it?
Does everything look the same? Yeah.
Do you have anything that would show the passage of time?
No. Well, a watch, I guess. What time is it on the watch?
The time seems to. The watch seems to. Trying to think of what you would have to compare it against.
It was evening, right?
Yeah, I guess the sun was setting.
So is it like noticeably just instantly it's just a little bit more dark or hued in a different way?
Yeah, the hue is coming from the water, not from the horizon.
The fire?
Yeah. The sun has set. You would say there's about 45 minutes different.
I will show my watch and say, this isn't right. Do you have a watch?
I'd never cataloged it canonically, but I would assume
We have like
Yeah, I
call
imagine
times
so.
and stuff. You'd think we would.
like a pocket
be
watch
punctual.
probably.
Yeah.
So yes.
Mhm.
And Omar will pull it out and open it.
Your watch matches
Oh,
hers.
putain, of course. This is terrible.
Do you,
They stole some time.
do you think he would have set the fire in the missing time?
Qui sait? But something terrible happened.
Well, I mean, I don't think we can. 45 minutes, he could be long gone. I guess we should go back to the others and.
Wait, Katerina, where is she?
I think we were running in the opposite direction, so I don't think we saw any.
Mm-hmm. No, and if I remember correctly, Josser's perception was not high enough to have seen it.
Not at all.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. Maybe she's with the Contessa and Professor.
Peut-être.
Did you want to try and explore any of the things where you saw Father Korsakov
Might be a spyglass somewhere.
casting?
Yeah, I would like to take a look around, but also do just generally a hinky magic check.
Okay, sure. So, with the perception, would you like to team up on that?
I would have the lowest because I have 0 diamonds.
Okay. No, that's the lowest. So if you have 0 diamonds, whoever has a diamond,
Okay.
you have to. It's any diamond, but
diamond.
it's the lowest
Okay.
among you. It doesn't automatically mean that you go without a diamond if there isn't one.
But
Yeah,
do you have a diamond?
I do.
So if you wanted to play, well, you have two things that take diamonds.
Hmm.
Your sorcery would take diamonds, as well as your perception. If you have two of them, your lowest one would have to go on the perception.
Well, I also have. Let me count how many. I have two lucky. No, I have 2 sevens left.
Okay. You're the one that had multiples left. I knew somebody did.
Yeah.
So you could use the diamond on the perception or the lucky 7 on the perception, either or.
I would like to use the 7 on the sorcery, and then my diamond, which I'll play now,
Okay.
on my
Okay.
perception, and then
So,
I guess
mhm.
add my 2.
Well, we'll start with the perception.
Okay.
That's to search the area.
Yes.
So you've got your perception. What is your base perception?
Good.
Good. What is your base perception, Chasseur?
You're muted.
Sorry, also good.
Okay, so that's a base of 12, so that's a 21. Because you combine them and then take the lowest diamond between you when you're doing a team effort. So that would be a 21. You can add 2 to it to make it a 23 if you wish, or you can save that for your sorcery.
I'll save it for the sorcery.
Okay. So and your sorcery is great, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So that would also be a 9, so that's a 17 with the 8, the 7, and the 2. Yes. Okay. So all right, so we'll start with the perception. As you look around in the vicinity of the small chapel, you'll find that all of the goods have been loaded and stacked neatly. You will notice, both of you will pick up on this, some of it from your time on stage and some of it from your time doing other things. But you will notice leftover bits from blessings, flower petals, the scent of rose water. It seems as though all of the supplies have been blessed. You will also note, as you're searching, who goes to the chapel itself, who's looking at the road or any other area, like where are you kind of splitting up your movements?
Just there, do you have a preference?
I think why don't you look at all of these spell implements and things? I think that is more your expertise, and I will check the road.
Okay. We do that.
Okay. As as you make your way toward the road and you start to kind of look over the cobblestone, you will notice a couple things. One, some of the stones are actually engraved with different names. You believe that they are names of saints. The one that is fairly prominent that first caught your eye is actually San Paulo, St. Paul. As you look further down the road, you notice they're kind of, with the way that the light is and just the moonlight mixed with the firelight coming off the water and the ambient light from the surrounding buildings, you can kind of see a little bit of a path that the truck took, and then it just vanishes. Do you go to the end of where what you can see in the disturbance of like the dust and the grime and the grit from the tires, and see if it actually does or if it's just a trick of shadow and light?
I don't know that Jasser would have left the area too far, probably
Okay.
just to get the impression of what happened. They're all too aware that there is a boat on fire, and if the disturbance in the restaurant is loud enough, probably something going on there.
Yes. The disturbance in the restaurant, I don't know that it's necessarily loud enough, but the commotion is active enough that it would grab your attention as you are out there by the road. And you would notice out of the corner of your eye the Contessa and the professor making their way toward the estate proper.
So yeah, Jasser would turn back and run towards Elise.
Okay. Elise, you find amongst everything there two things of note. One is a symbol that you do not recognize. It is it is actually left on a wax seal of a very modest sized envelope, along with a very simple and plain paper, that of someone who probably not of any means. The wax seal itself is actually odd because it carries with it gold fleck inside it. But outside of that, the rest of the envelope is plain. When you turn it over, it simply says, "Sister."
I open it.
Okay. Inside, you find a letter addressed to you. Are you going to take time to read it now?
Has Jasser run back to me yet?
Not quite yet.
Then yes. I mean, this is
Okay.
If I open it and see my name on it, I will at least skim it because it's weird.
At the top, it says, "Dear Elise St. Pierre, I do not wish to alarm you, but your potential caught my attention, and I could not left these words unsaid. There are greater things going on in this world than what you might understand. Mysteries wrapped within mysteries. Magical orders embedded in magical orders. Some of us as old as time. If you wish to see how deep the mysteries go, find me in Rome. Sincerely, Father Vladimir Korsukov."
Wow. Elise will read the letter one more time, and then if she spots Amor coming, she will pocket the letter, but she'll keep I guess no, the seal. I don't recognize the seal you said, right?
No, you do not recognize the symbol at all. It does look arcane in some way, shape, or form. It It could be made up. It could be just an order that you've never seen previously, but it is definitely not the Order of Saint Boniface, which is the order in which you noticed on his cross,
Yeah.
and to which he seems to be a practitioner of.
Okay.
All of the spell components that you find are all common in blessings. Some of them you don't remember being common amongst Christian church blessings. Some of the components feel far too pagan, far too
Like more like stuff what my people
familiar
use.
to your practice than what you would have expected from someone with a Catholic affiliation.
Which is interesting.
As Amor approaches, you notice one other thing. You notice on the church itself, the slightest hint of a ward that's been placed, protecting it, that is clearly the magic of Saint Boniface, which you have seen before. You're pretty sure that's the spell he was casting,
Okay.
and that you are currently standing on what would be considered holy ground or consecrated ground,
Okay.
depending on your belief system.
So when Amora comes back, I will say, I found what the father was casting before he stole time and disappeared. It looks like it was just a protective ward on the church, but I still question why the loss of time if all he was up to was some protective magic.
There is something more. It cannot just be this protection. The explosion. It's too much. But wherever they are, they're gone.
Yeah.
The tracks lead out, and as far as I can tell, they've been gone for a little bit.
I have a question about something else I found, but I think we can wait until a better time for that. But let's go find everybody else, see if they've had more luck than we have.
There is something going on at the restaurant. The Contessa and the professor, they're running.
Okay. All right, you up for another run?
If I must.
And at least like pulls up her skirts a little bit and off they go.
Yep.
As the two of them take a merry jaunt toward the estate proper to try and connect with the professor and the Contessa, we find ourselves on the boat for a moment. Ekaterina successfully pulling the core of this device. As you remove it, you notice that beneath you seems to be some sort of dispersal device that could probably be recreated and is probably not necessary for salvage. Though there are a lot of interesting and valuable parts down there, it's nothing that couldn't be replaced.
Okay.
You have the most vital parts to this invention currently in your arms, and they are very, very heavy.
Ooh.
Because they are the casing that you successfully pulled because you decided to close it back up and go from the outside is made of cold iron.
Make sure not to hand this to the Contessa.
Are you going to make your way up?
Yes, I'm. If it's possible, if by what I saw of the ship, to get to where the figure was.
Okay. Yeah, you wind your way through the flames and find a staircase to ascend to the upper deck. It's stable enough for you to make your way up, and dramatically collapses behind you as you bear the weight of this device. Your mother, perched ever so daintily on the stern, looking over the body of Cora Eid.
Did she die?
No, she's unconscious.
Well, then we should probably take her away.
Yes, but I cannot go back to land for a while.
Why?
People have seen me in this form. I must take the rap for the fire and make my way somewhere to quietly disappear and then return. You are not going to be able to swim to shore with that or her. And if you take flight again, people are going to be looking.
Well, you know, people are always looking at me. Have you seen me?
That's my daughter.
Well, I'll make sure that I am not connected to my dragon form. But I have two very important pieces to this puzzle, and she'll point to what she has on Nora.
Mm-hmm.
And I will make sure that they come out of here safely.
Well, how about this? Meet me back at San Polo, and I'll take the core. You take her to shore. Swim carefully, and you will find within my skirt that I stashed under the docks. Pantsuit. It's one of my favorites.
Oh,
But you always borrowed my clothes anyway, so I'm assuming it'll
did.
fit you well enough.
Well, I learned how to wear pantsuits from someone.
Hmm. And you look mighty fine in them, just like your mother.
I do. To be honest, I was just going to walk around naked, but
I know, and I would prefer that you didn't this time. Humor
fine.
your mother.
Walk into one religious feast all naked and nobody lets you leave it down.
It was the right sentiment, the wrong holiday.
Well, humans and their holidays, they're the same. Anyway,
And
um,
300 years, it makes a total difference. The last time you went to any feast in that place, it was 300 years prior. And yes, naked would have been totally fine then.
I hadn't been there for that long, so I just assumed.
And that's what you get for assuming.
Well, it was definitely a present for everyone.
All right, then.
Okay.
Let me play Mean Dragon and fly away with my loot.
Okay, Mama. Here you
Slip
go.
away in the commotion
I
and
will.
do your best for her.
I will, Mother. I shall meet you back at São Paulo.
Yes, dear. I look forward to it.
Make sure to not let it get into harm's way.
No, of course not. I spent far too much time crafting the shell for this.
You might have to craft a new one.
Hmm. Let's hope not.
Okay. Hell, here you go. She'll put it down, and then she will transform, and very gently, very daintily, pick up the unconscious body of Nora Eid
Mm-hmm.
within her claws and make her way back to shore. But she's trying to go as low as possible because is it sunset or is it after sunset?
Oh, it's dark now.
So she's trying to kind of blend in with the darkness of the water.
Okay.
Well, I'm so glad I made her a black dragon. This is working out amazingly, guys. And then land near you said it was in the shore?
Yeah, under the docks.
Under the docks. She's not gonna go underwater because she has an unconscious woman with her. But she will land near the docks and then just carry the woman with her under
Okay.
the docks.
Okay. Give me a stealth if you don't mind.
Ooh.
So
Do
that's
I have
clubs.
stealth? Clubs. I do have clubs. And my stealth is good because that was one of my revelations.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo.
So that's a 15.
Yeah.
You are able to fly under the radar, as it were. No one seems to notice. They're much more focused on your mother, who has decided to burn the rest of the boat.
Just always so dramatic.
And she takes 2 or 3 passes at it, lighting it ablaze and making sure that it is slagged before flying off. And you can see in her clutches the core that you had entrusted to her as she disappears into the night sky.
Mm-hmm.
You have one unconscious Ms. Eid. She's breathing. Little singed, little worse for wear, but she's breathing. You see your mother's tearaway skirt near, and just as she said, in the bustle, you find, tucked away, a pantsuit and shirt.
Maybe skirts are useful for something. She'll start putting on the pantsuit. It's not fully like prim and proper, like the shirt is like halfway buttoned, the jacket's put on, the pants put on, because she's like, I have an unconscious woman, but I still look good now. I'm not gonna lie, she still looks good.
Mhm.
And so is Nora stabilized?
You believe so.
Okay. Would I be able to make a check because I have physician is good?
Yeah, you can. Since the base good, you don't need to do anything. Yes,
Okay.
you believe her to be stable.
Okay.
Without everything else would be internal at this point. So
Mhm.
without any additional resources, further investigation wouldn't yield you much more.
Mhm.
So you'd want to get her somewhere safe first.
She will take her because she doesn't really know this island much, but she does know there's a village, like a villa proper, like a
Mhm.
house proper. She's gonna take her there because she can lay her to rest and make sure she's all right.
Okay. As you make your way out from under the docks and head up to the estate, we're going to turn back to the Contessa and the professor. You duck through a doorway and you see at the end of the hall, there's a long hall that actually is connecting, kind of a breezeway, so to speak, between the main estate and the restaurant. And you see at the end of it a figure ducking through another doorway and headed into the estate proper. Do you continue your pursuit?
Yes.
They went straight into the estate, right?
Yes. Everybody else seems to be trying to figure out what's going on. They are the only ones that are moving away.
And in my mind, we are sprinting.
Mhm.
Is that correct? Okay, we're not just like walking at a brisk pace or anything. Like, so they are very suspicious.
They are moving extremely quickly. You're moving as fast as you can. I mean, through the restaurant, it wasn't really sprinting because there are too many people. So it was speed walking and trying to dodge people.
All right.
And then once you get here, you'll notice that they were running through the doorway.
Yeah, the Contessa is running as much as she can.
Mm-hmm.
Which, is actually very possible in a full dress like that, as she's proven on multiple occasions.
Mm-hmm.
Is there more than one point of entry into the estate from where we are?
Oh, yes, absolutely. This is basically just the entrance from the restaurant. There's still the rear entrance that goes out to the large garden. There's the front entrance that people are actually supposed to enter from, and then there's probably at least one other servant's entrance or delivery entrance that you're not aware of.
Yeah, if I'm not aware of them, I would rather avoid them. I'm really looking at different points of entries in my field of vision at the moment.
Oh, at the moment, it'd be windows or the doors that you see right there. And all of the windows are elevated. None of them are low to the ground.
Are any of them, before I do something stupid, are any of them barred with iron bars?
Yes. The first floor.
Crap.
This island has seen at least one war come through.
Come on. I'll keep following the Contessa then. I'll avoid trying to yell parkour and smash into iron bars.
Okay. So you guys, you both make your way through the breezeway as quickly as your feet can take you. And you enter into a large hall that seems to stretch across the front half of the estate. It's a grand hall, almost hotel-like in its breadth. You look around for the figure, and I'm assuming you look around for the figure.
Yes.
Are you applying anything in particular?
Did you say implying or playing?
Applying.
Applying. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
I will assist in this at the moment. I have no diamonds with which to do any perception. Her perception is great.
Excellent. And the professor?
Professor is going to throw away a card.
So neither of you have diamonds?
I don't have any diamond.
Okay, that's perfectly fine then. And what is your base?
My base is an 8.
So yours is a grade as well? So
Yeah,
that's
great.
a 17 total. Because it'll be a combined effort. The figure is nowhere to be seen. But what catches you as quite odd is you're pretty sure that you see Jasser headed up the stairs to the second floor.
So this is where I'm gonna so we both see this?
Yes.
Okay. So this is where the Contessa is going to do two things that she knows. One, she knows that Jasser ran away from her. And as good as Jasser is at running, neither of us run very fast, so she can't predict anything like this. So she's going to do something slightly aggressive and shout out at the figure and say, you know, if you wanted to dress like them, you should have really had a much better tailored suit, because that they weren't wearing earlier. It was pink, not blue.
And on that note, we are going to take our break. And when we return, we are going to begin with Elise St. Pere and her revelation from last week.
And we also have a revelation this week.
So we will spin the wheel for a revelation and 2 lucky 7.
Do you want me to spin right away, Chris, so that we
Let's
know
spin
ahead
right
of
away,
time?
yeah.
Okay. Well, you know the magic words, everyone. It is time to spin that
wheel.
I was muted, but I love it.
Amor!
Yay!
Awesome.
I hope your revelation is super speed, and that was you the whole time.
It was.
Yeah.
Physique is actually great and not average.
There you go.
All right, so I'll just update the frame right away for Jacer. There we go. So that's already taken care of. Everyone, we will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Get up, stretch your legs, grab something to drink, grab something to eat. The tension is rising, and we are nearing the climax of this story. We'll be right back, everyone.
You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who, deep in thought, nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deepen thought, nearly trip over pixies, delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deepen thought, nearly trip over pixies, delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who, deep in thought, nearly trip over pixies, delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who, deep in thought, nearly trip over pixies, delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein. You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep.
Hello, everyone. We are back. We spin the wheel earlier. We have our winner, Jaser, who got a fancy new frame. Oh shoot, that would have made a very, very cool GIF. Kenny, I'm gonna have to go back into the to the VOD to
Flip it.
to snap it. Yeah. And yeah, Chris, go ahead.
So, we return as Jaser and Lise make their way to the estate proper. Both of you seem to have stumbled upon some powerful magics that bring forth a variety of thoughts and memories. What are they?
Who's going first?
We've been on pins and needles for yours.
Okay. As Elise ponders over this letter she has from Father Korsakoff, she thinks back to her training back home, and especially when it comes to the interesting elements, the more pagan elements that were left behind at the church. She thinks back to her training and back at home, and how so much of that and so much of her coven specific magic was not about the weaving of the spells themselves, but more about understanding and learning all of what nature had to offer, and at least learned that a lot of what healing and helping other people, even like sure as a witch, but as just a woman with abilities, was learning what was already there in the environment and maybe enhancing that as necessary. And so she has all of that old wives' tales, remedies, and language based on natural cures and things like that for how to help women not get pregnant, how to create old-timey aspirin from, what is it,
Willow bark?
willow bark, yeah, things like that. And so she has her natural sciences
Excellent.
bumped up.
And what about Jaser?
Well, all of this running has Jaser thinking back on their time before they were Jaser. But after they were Françoise Petit, there was a short time that they were trying on a new name, trying to distance themselves from their parents and their little flower shop, and they chose the name René Belrose, and they took a job as a courier to kind of make their own money and put the shoe on the right foot, so to speak. However, that time was short-lived as they accidentally accepted a job that then led them back to deliver goods to their parents. So shortly after, they disappeared and rethought their naming process, and that's what led them to the theater. So they will get a bump in physique.
Ah, excellent. And as you make your way to the estate, you come in through a rear entrance, the rear patio, to the grand hall, and you see from a distance the Contessa yelling at someone on the stairs, who's dressed sort of
like you, Joseph, except it's the outfit that you wore the day you left the Vale.
Excusez-moi. What is this?
Very poor imitation of you. Now I'm speaking French instead of Italian, but we'll get back to that. A very poor imitation of you.
Arrête. Right there. Stop.
The figure stops on the stairs.
Turn around. Who are you?
And you'll see the person turn around, but from your vantage point, you still cannot see above, I don't know, midway up their torso due to the angle of the railing and the stairs. Contessa, you see what looks like Josser.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it is not Giselle, because I know Giselle, and that is definitely not what Giselle looked like when we walked in. It's not the right outfit, it's nothing's right. So, could I use her skill in glamours to break the image in front of me?
You could attempt it, yes.
Cool, because her glamour is good, and I have this nice queen that's just kind of sitting here wanting to be used.
I like it.
Because she also has a thought, and she's not sure, and if this was like 40 years later, then she might have been quoting a particular book about, dropping a house on one's loved ones. But that's right now, she's just trying to see if she can break what's in front of her to show what's underneath.
Interesting. And you find yourself having difficulty. It shimmers, but seems to go blank and then comes back.
So are you a Ruakwe, or did
Ruakyu.
Ruakyu?
Ruakyu.
Ruakyu. So are you Ruakyu, or was Ruakyu the one we dropped the staircase on?
The moment you utter that name, you will see this person just stare daggers at you.
And she'll kind of like pull that little hand wave, like, hi. And then she'll like kind of quasi sotto voce to the professor. They're probably going to be very upset by that statement.
Do you have your pin?
Always. And she's going to pull the pin from her hand, in her hand.
Mm-hmm. And what about the professor and our dear Elise?
Professor?
The professor is intrigued by this reunion, doesn't really know who this Gisser clone is. But what he would do is use the Contessa's conversation as a distraction to inch ever closer to this mysterious runner.
Okay.
just to get closer in case they try to run away again or they try something. The professor will be there to, I don't know, put themselves in their way.
Mm-hmm.
Or probably try to restrain them, depending. The professor is not really a physical man. Well, I mean, he's physical anyway. But yeah, he'll try to use this as a diversion to get closer. Try to like walk in the just at the edge of that person's peripheral vision. An inch. Ever.
Okay. So as you start to move closer, you do not seem to catch basically any sort of like notice. How close are you trying to get?
Maybe like a stride away. 2 arms length. Because I feel like any closer would be very not telling, but would be very apparent as to what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know them. And for all I know, they have something up their sleeve. The Contessa said something about dropping a stairs on them. So if they survive that, they probably have resources. Means that the professor does not have.
As you kind of inch toward them and circle your way about, they're still on the stairs, the grand staircase that goes up to the second floor. You will notice there's a certain point where the eyes of this person flick over at you, then back to the Contessa, and then over at you.
Oh, I would... The moment I see their eyes land on me, I would freeze where I am.
Okay.
Try not to act any more suspicious than I already am in their eyes.
Okay. Elise,
Yes.
what do you do?
Elise would try to. I guess I don't really know how spells work, but like she wants to try to see if she can bind or like stop this person from moving.
Okay.
So what she wants to do is kind of like step behind Jacer so that she's not as visible. I mean, she will be because her skirts are huge, but like at least her hands aren't visible. And then like try to do a simple binding spell, and with the idea being that like she doesn't know if they're gonna need it, but if this person decides to bolt again, she just wants to at least try to slow them down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, let's see here. For the spell that you are discussing, we'll go to the Comme il faut. And we will take a look at page. Where are we at? I think it's in the 70s. No, it's past the 70s.
High sorcery. Here we go.
80. Let's see here. Do we have anything
85.
in?
I guess holding word.
Yeah, that's probably what you're looking for. You need to make sure that you have them in sight.
Okay. Yeah. They must be mortal.
Okay. I don't know how well that'll work on Faye. I'm guessing you would know that. Let me double check.
Just
Type of subject.
I only see the only.
They are
difference is
not considered mortal.
Oh, they're not. Okay.
No.
Because I see
So on page
elemental.
87, it tells you the type of subject.
Mm.
And mortal is human or animal. Fairy is a different type of subject, including another sorcerer or wizard is also considered a different type of subject.
Yeah, it looks like 99% of these are mortal.
Yeah, well, you can create your own. So in this case, on 87, this is where you'd be creating your own concoction.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for a spell duration of 1 to 30 minutes, so short amount of time, but not momentary, that's a 2 is your base number there. What are you trying to do to them? You're trying to slow or hold them in place. So you've got one element that's going to be 3. Your range needs to be sight, which is what we had before. Unaided sight, so that's a 2. So that's a 5. 1 subject. 6, fairy, 8, unknown, so don't know subject, so that's another 3, so that's 11, and then there is no harm involved. So you're looking for an 11, and we'll go with hearts as the suit as well.
Okay.
Because that's what we had for that holding word.
Yeah.
So you're basically modifying a holding word. You would know that this person is not, or is well, you would assume that they're a fairy of some sort because you've been told about this in the past.
Yes. And Amor told the Contessa to pull her pin.
So,
okay. Well, there's still a queen on the board.
Oh, yes. Let me move that. That is the Contessa's, which is not gone away yet.
Alrighty, and I'll play that.
Okay. So your spell would go off without a hitch because that's a 13 plus your sorcery. So what is your sorcery? Yeah. Great. So it's an 8. So that almost doubles it, but definitely makes it by 150%. So your spell is a full success. Would you like to spend your Deuce's Wild?
What? I guess what's the difference if it doubles it?
If you double it, it's considered a high success. Think of it like a critical.
Oh, okay. Well, then yes.
Okay.
If you're not going to do it in the finale, when are you going to do it?
There you go. So you will see this creature, person, stop moving. They are holding extremely still. Their eyes still move. They're still breathing, but not another muscle, not another twitch.
So I'm going to play 2 cards.
Okay.
First one I'm going to play is this. The Ace of Spades to pull on connections. And how I'd like to use that, if you would permit, can I, with the information that I know or Jacer knows, connect some dots about who this doppelganger might actually be?
Okay.
If I would have known them as my, my friend from the Vale.
As let's see, as you start to get closer and assess what you see before you, you start to make some connections. You start to see different bits and pieces of the attire. It does look like what you wore that day, but there are certain things that are out of place of what you wore. For example, those boots are not yours. Those boots are definitely Feylord boots. You've seen them before. You would associate them with your friend.
So the second card I'm going to play is this lovely Ace of Hearts.
Okay.
And I'm going to take on the persona of my lover, who is unnamed. I do not remember their name. I don't think we ever named them. But they are also, I think they're a Fey Lord as well, like a higher noble.
Mm-hmm.
And I will take on that persona, call them by name, and tell them to drop their act.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Godless Lawyer. Go ahead and spin that wheel as I weave this result.
No problem. I had closed the tab for it, so it'll take just a quick second.
Excellent. So, as do you have anything in particular that, any sort of center stage flourish or anything of that nature?
I would pull, like, my posture would change into their typical rigid nobility, and the timbre and meter of my voice would change to match what theirs is, and I would do my best to stare into their eyes and deliver it as authoritatively as possible.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead and spin it.
Again, a more.
Ooh.
So that's as this concludes, you can tell us what it leads to. You will see their posture actually shift slightly. Elise, you will actually feel a queasiness, as there's something that seems to be pushing back against the magics. There's a sneer that comes across their face, and their eyes lock with yours, Jasser. They cannot speak, but they don't need to. It's pure, unadulterated hate.
I knew they were in danger the moment they were expelled from the Vale. And I knew you were behind it. I let poor Jasser know. And they were in on it the whole time. You've been played, you fool.
You will see what looks like the light emanating from a burning red hot poker kind of leak out from underneath the open collar with that deep V that Jasser loves to wear so much. And their visage begins to shift. They cannot seem to move or fully articulate, but more and more of these symbols begin to shed light out from underneath their faux clothing. And as it does, their face changes. It changes from you to your lover. Uh-oh. We're having video issues.
Yeah, I'm trying to look into it because we're not losing any frames at the moment on Streamlabs, so it might just be Twitch. Nothing I can do on my end right now.
Trying to see if there's anything that we can do. No?
I'm checking with like everything that I have open.
I was just seeing if there was a setting on my end that a user setting could be, but it's not. All of mine are set up for low latency.
I just reloaded it and it's spinning.
Yeah, the bad
Sarah-
wheel is spinning for me too.
Jasser's portrait just overwhelmed everything.
It did.
Too much beauty in one spot.
Oh.
He as a player has no idea what's going on. I'm very intrigued. Also, Katerina just walked in. I've been told, and she's there with an unconscious body. Like, what the
Okay,
fuck?
we're back in the green apparently. After about like what 3-4 minutes, but it hasn't gone down. So
Do we have movement again?
The image has not updated.
It's still glitchy for me. Like it's frame.
can you
long time frame.
can you refresh just in case?
I just refreshed, and it's doing the same
It's
thing.
the same thing. Okay. Oh, great.
And no, I want to see who it is. It sounded like there was an and at the end of that.
Uh-oh. I think there's movement.
Oh, there's movement.
Are we back?
There's
There
movement.
is.
Yeah.
Me whining like a 4-year-old worked?
I think
I
so.
will keep channeling my niece. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old running around.
Hey.
It's now into the delay. So the delay it's just picked up from when you said that you're back in the green.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna have like a 10 seconds delay for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
So. The face goes from yours, Jasser, as it stares daggers through you, to that of your lover. And from your lover, it shifts again to your friend. And then again to that brownie that you met when you first crossed into the Vale. And for a brief second, to the squirrel that you first saw. And we paused again. Did we freeze again?
No, everything's okay here.
Okay.
We're not
So
moving
that's
on
just me.
my screen. No, it's not
Yeah,
just
we're not
you.
moving them on.
Oh no,
Yeah,
wait.
but we're like a 10-second delay.
We should be moving now. It's not. That would be my mistake. No, now is not my mistake anymore. Okay.
Okay.
Oh boy. This is killing me. Why? Huh.
Why right now?
Yeah, no, we're back in the red. Nope, back in the green.
It says they said the audio's good, but the screen froze.
Okay. Well, we'll go with the audio for now, friends.
Yes. Let's make this a podcast for a few minutes.
Oh, it's back.
So, that squirrel that you saw, and then a face that you don't recognize. A face none of you recognize. And it stops on that face. A very plain looking face. A face that could disappear into a crowd without a moment's hesitation. A face you'll likely forget. And their clothing shifts from what Jasser was wearing to nondescript browns and grays. And it bleeds away where those runes now burn brightly. They cannot speak, but it increases in its intensity with every passing moment.
Oh, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Because this Contessa is paranoid and is pretty sure that this person just lit the bomb on something else and possibly had spent some time, listening to Oberon. Do I think that this particular individual is about to self-combust and possibly take the rest of us with us?
Yes.
Cool. Who's the person who's closest to her?
Jasser.
Okay, Jasser.
Jasser would have stepped basically like in front of you when they did their monologue.
Okay, then she's gonna reach a hand towards Elise and say, just take a hand and take Elise, reach her hand back towards Elise, and then reach a hand towards Jasser and shout, "Run!" as loud as she can, and just grab the two of them and go the other direction because she can't get to Thayer, and she's just pulling the two of them. Like, not in the direction, but if we're assuming this is a long, great hall. Fuck Talbot. That's my answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, whoever that is, thank you very much. I didn't want to stop what was going on for that. Thank you.
So yeah, she grabs the two of them and just kind of shouts it as loud as she can as she makes a look at the professor. And assuming this is like the grand hall of of this, and they came in through one door or the other, there have to be those wonderful glass window doors to a side.
To be honest, the where your position is now, since you're at the foot of the grand staircase, it's basically the front entrance is your fastest way out of the building. Except for Ekaterina, it's back where you came, because you just basically stepped in through the doors,
Heard run, and
heard
I
this
walked back.
monologue, then there was this dramatic pause, and then run from the
Like-
Contessa.
Me with an unconscious body. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
You're a dragon. You got this.
And she's
You're
just
gonna blame
got,
it on me? No.
she's got a hand on each of them, and she's going to turn and pull them away. And she kind of like makes eye contact as she's shouting at Thayer to try and get him to move, but I can't get to him.
Oh, I totally want to punch this thing. So, but I also want to run too.
I mean,
It is the finale, so
Do what you
Punch,
must.
then run.
yeah, I'll punch then run. So, average fisticuffs.
Okay. So 13, they can't dodge.
And I'll add my +2 to that. Why not?
Okay. And
And
what
for
else?
for a run,
Anything? Yeah. Okay. As you strike and run, Elise's spell will break. And you will hear screeching well, not really screeching, in this guttural, hissing voice. For my brother and the Congress of the Iron Master,
Okay,
you shall burn.
okay, so you weren't the one we dropped the staircase on, is literally what she shouts as she's running. Good to know.
Ooh. Ooh.
And he
Wait,
explodes.
I want to do something.
Okay.
Okay, this is playing with words, but I am probably the greatest thief the world of Castle Falkenstein has ever seen. And I have pulled heists that have put other thieves to shame. Right now, Thayer doesn't really know how to react, so he would, since he's been left behind by everyone. And
Sort
his-
of. I mean,
I mean,
you're
if he's, I don't know. Yeah.
equidistant from the front
Yeah,
doors.
okay. His,
Grab everybody.
he only recently discovered that, magic is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if magic is a thing, things can be stolen.
Mm-hmm.
Could he attempt? I know this is playing with words, but could I attempt to steal this person's magic?
You can attempt, but what are you going to do in order to make that happen?
Thayer doesn't know much about how magic works. He still thinks that magic is this almost like tangible thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows that magic doesn't obey the laws of physics and is thus governed by its own set of Byzantine laws. He would make a motion with his hands as if he was putting a bag over something, like grabbing something in a bag and just well, how would you call that? Crumpling it up and shoving it in his pocket.
Okay.
All the while in his mind, like focusing on the fact that this being, even if it's only temporary, like I will probably die because it will explode before I have time to move away. So might as well try it. If I succeed, it will be a feat worthy of legends.
So that would still be sorcery.
I have a poor sorcery. Can I still attempt it?
You can still attempt it.
Okay, I will burn my Deuce's Wild.
Okay, so that's a 4.
And I will play my Joker.
Okay, so that's a 19.
I can't add anything else to it.
That will be played against you in defense.
Yeah, but what's his sorcery?
And you put it in your pocket, and do you run?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm not looking back.
Okay. So give me an athletics.
Oh, that's clubs? I will use my lucky 7
Okay.
for a
What's
13.
your base athletics? Okay.
It was good, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Any other trailing actions as we depart from this very angry, almost faceless being, now glowing with over a dozen runes that look like hot irons?
Grouping up with the rest as we run out.
Okay. We'll say that you all make your way out to the front. Some a little more singed than others. Primarily Thayer and Jasser, the ones that have felt the bulk of the heat as the estate itself explodes. There's rubble cast everywhere. And for whatever reason, maybe, but then again, maybe everyone was hallucinating. It was the giant dragon wings that blocked some of the blast that don't seem to be there any longer. Maybe it was sheer luck. Maybe it was the blessing of a wayward priest and his young charge. But you find yourselves dusting off and looking around at a collapsed estate.
We have to go.
Yep. Boat this way. Going along. Follow.
Who
Boat?
who was this?
Jesser is like actively crying.
Just, Amor, come on.
Putain. Okay. D'accord.
Okay, they were a lying, cheating asshole who plotted against you. Come on, let's go. And she's kind of like, I will be more sympathetic later, but we are going to the boats. To the boats.
On y va. Let's go.
As the boat makes its way back to Venice, what revelations do you find yourself having, Contessa?
What 3 revelations?
If you need a second, I do. Elise will want to say something once they're on the boat. She will say, "So we never had a chance to talk about this, but long story short, I ran into Father. What is his name?
Cough.
Korsakov.
I ran into Father Korsakov. We lost 45 minutes of time just as that houseboat blew up, and I'm not entirely sure that had absolutely anything to do with what happened with that explosion, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on at the same time that
Well, we'll
may or may
discuss
not be
that
related.
back at the Contessa's villa. Ekaterina says that she's naked once more, carrying an unconscious body. Those wings are mine, bitches.
So as you say this, the Contessa kind of looks at you, sighs, and we've kind of and she shoved as many, like, just kind of pushed you into the boat, and realizes that there isn't really a person at the helm of this particular boat, and she's like, well, shit. At least the captain was good for more than one thing.
Oh wow, the captain had this one very situational skill.
No, he had helmsmanship, which is important.
Yes, at great, mind you.
Which, the Contessa has a thing. She learns and uses as many skills as she can to get as much information as she can from as many different people as she can. And so from the captain teaching her helmsmanship.
Oh my god. Oh, I wasn't muted.
Love it.
And so she's going to use this as an opportunity to helm the boat, kind of glance at Ekaterina and say, thank you for your wonderful usefulness, and for making sure we didn't all die in the fiery crash. And then she'll glance at Elise and be like, I'm pretty sure the good Father is not actually causing a lot of things. And if we've only lost 45 minutes, that's a very short time. He's done that whole time stopping thing for like a couple hours.
Oh wow.
Well,
It's strange timing choice of everything.
Yes.
He's a little. But if we can get to the villa, we can relax, recover. I can fix my dress and my hair.
Professor,
Ekaterina
may I borrow
can get dressed.
Professor, may I borrow your jacket? It's a bit nippy outside.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
See, that works well.
Do you
and
need
then-
my pants?
Do you want to be naked?
Well, I mean, I have underwear.
Well, I'm sure Elise can pull out one of her, like a skirt layer, and give you something.
Sure.
I've got 5.
Oh, thank you. This is definitely not the most atrocious combination of things I've ever worn, but it's very much appreciated.
It's okay. We'll go see Stefano. He will get you much better. We already ordered. It'll be fine.
I imagine she has a skirt underlayer and just an open, like a jacket that shows that she has no shirt underneath. This is fine.
It's like that time in Paris.
It's like that
3
time in
years
Paris
ago.
all over again. Except there was no underskirt. And it was a vest.
Well, that seems to be a problem. And I think the other thing she thinks of as we're moving along through this is the fact that this is the first time she's going to have to acknowledge that she has a certain particular set of skills, at least among public, and that she's going to use everything she can to be as, in contrary to indication, everything else that Jasser has ever seen of her in any time, she can be stealthy when she needs to, but it isn't her choice, isn't her preferred method. So she's going to try and quote unquote sail casual, and bring the boat instead up through one of the side canals instead of through the main canal, and going through so you don't actually have to be seen in the biggest, most populated areas, and kind of go around a little ways to get back to the villa, because the villa is kind of set away. And it's a skill she learned when, from her brother Bastiano. And while they may have started it as, sneaking in to steal pastries, because cannolis are, everyone should know how to steal cannolis from your parents' cook as a child. But it's a skill she began to use in her profession when she needed to make sure she got the right information to the right people in the right ways, and possibly to get in and out of various people's bedrooms when it was appropriate to not be seen there.
Very intriguing.
And I think the last one, I think
you can hold it for a moment if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold that last one.
So we're gonna go around, and as the boat and the Contessa at the helm guides you all back to the villa, what is the parting conversation or question or thought that you wish to leave season 3 with, to share with the audience?
I think for the professor, it would just be not a thought, but like a camera shot.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, what's the name of it? Counter plunged? When the camera's down and it shoots up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So point of view basically of his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
As he opens it, looks inside, smiles, and closes it.
We're going to go around the overlay. Ekaterina.
She sits there in her strange combination and looks to Nora, who she's been trying to keep getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Fires and explosions. And she's trying to think how all of this is connected. The fire. Lord of the Iron Mask, I believe the name was. Jasser.
It's the Iron Master.
Iron Master.
Mm-hmm.
And what has this group that she met, not but maybe less than a week ago, how are they intertwined? How do their threats connect?
Mm. Intriguing. A lot of different lines being drawn, a lot of different connections. There is something, obviously, that connects further back to Jasser and the Contessa from a time long before you met the Contessa in Munich. There's something sad, some sort of loss, something that you can tell has left Chasser a bit hollow from that exchange.
I think
Elise has
sorry.
some connections to the magic that is going on. There are bits and pieces that you see in the air around her that is growing stronger with each passing day. And the professor, who seems to like to play simple, is much more complex than he chooses to let on. If nothing else binds this group, let it be their secrets left to be discovered.
I think at that thought she's looking around at the group with Nora in her lap. The connection between the Contessa and Jacer. She's sitting possibly between Elise and Jacer. A hand on Jacer's shoulder, sympathetic. And keeps looking between everyone.
Just that.
After,
Mm-hmm.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, after the wave of sadness that hit, what do you have?
Chassir's standing at the side of the boat, looking over the railing at the night sky and the horizon, remembering what Misty had told them about missing missing being away, and all they can think of is the veil and their love. And for the first time, their facade in public has cracked. And they pull out the letter that they received and they smell it. They feel it. A tear rolls down their cheek and drops upon it. And then they feel Ekaterina's hand on their shoulder. And they take a deep breath in and let it go. And wait till the boat comes to dock.
Very just there. Elise.
Boat skims the water of the canals. Elise, with her left hand, she looks like she's idly just tapping and plucking the air, but what she's doing is feeling those very threads that connect the people on this boat and all of life generally, the threads with which she weaves her magic, and without intention, just reveling in the familiarity of most of the people on this boat and how much she has come to cherish them and rely on them in such a short time. And but with her right hand, she her right hand you don't see as it is behind Ekaterina in reaching towards Lisa's own skirt, where the letter was tucked away in one of her pockets. And she thinks of how, once the production is over, it would be a good time to go check out Rome. She's never been there.
For a moment, as you're reaching toward that letter and holding that last thought, you can feel, or at least you believe you can feel, your watch slow to a crawl for just about a heartbeat and a half. And then time moves on at its normal pace once again.
She smiles.
Contessa, we're back to you.
Chris, I need an answer.
Oh, you're messaging me. I rarely pay attention to that. I apologize. No.
It's okay to say no.
No.
Okay. Then what happens is going to be a little bit different.
Mhm.
If you're okay with this, I'm going to kind of tweak it a little bit.
Okay.
And as the boat kind of docks at the dock for the Contessa's villa, and everyone else alights, she kind of like she realizes now that things have gotten complicated. A little more complicated than she usually plays with. And if personal vendettas are becoming a bigger thing, well, she grew up with vendettas. She understands that the best way to deal with them is to find the right allies with the right skill sets that can augment hers. And so as everyone else gets out, she kind of slides a hand up the back of the professor, slides her hand along the professor's back up to his shoulder and around to his neck, kind of letting her fingers play at the hair at the nape of his neck and say, "So do you want to teach me how to pick locks? And I'll teach you how to make sure that nobody ends up following you. Or so you can move more easily in those pretty circles you like."
Uh-huh.
And that, folks,
I mean,
is the rousing end to season 3.
Fucking Christ, I'm drinking.
I mean, if we need me
awkward,
to play, if we need me to play
Professor.
charisma on that, I'll play the charisma.
No, I have nothing in my hand anymore.
No, I love the as how we end this season.
So I'll just take that as like a placeholder for tinkering.
Yes, you can definitely put tinkering up to good.
I'm sure there'll be lots of tinkering between them.
Yes. Thank you to our audience, and thank you to these wonderful players. You made a gorgeous story out of a handful of bullet points. I appreciate all of your creativity and role play. Thank you so much. It has been my pleasure to be the host of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein.
And if I could, I would play the theme song right now, but I'm afraid that if I play with Streamlabs anymore, we're gonna have problems again. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the cast. Thank you, chat, for coming along this 3rd season of Castle Falkenstein. We are going to come back next year. There's another show in the meantime to tie you over. As we hang up our skirts, our dresses, and our top hats, and our ascots and give our livers a well-deserved rest. We will be back, that I promise. But first, I would just like to thank our sponsors for this season of Castle Falkenstein: Artalsorian Games, Magen Press, Found Familiar, Roll20, and our partners, Level Up Dice. Thank you very much. I definitely need to get a alcohol sponsor for next season. I'll work on that. Thank you so much for all the donations. Thank you so much for hanging out in chat. Thank you for all the raids we got, all the follows, all the subscriptions, all the everything. Thank you, people watching on YouTube. I see you. I read your comments. I know you're there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Cast, for taking these 10 Mondays off of your schedule for this. I will leave the mic to you all so that you can let our viewers know where they can find you. We'll do the same order as the intros. We'll start with Adriana.
Hi everyone, my name's Adriana, or else a vamp on the internet. You can't find me here on Mondays anymore yet. Soon, maybe we'll see what happens. But you can find me on Twitch and many other days. If you like dramatic games like this one with the drama and drinking and flirting, I do run a homebrew, loosely D&D game, which I like to lovingly refer to as a telenovela disguised as a D&D game. At 9 a.m. It's a little early, but we do also have VODs on YouTube over at the Hype Goblins channel. I also play over at Indoor Adventures channels on Thursdays. We're playing Acquisitions Incorporated. And soon, in about a few months, you can find me back playing Dragon Age over at Valgrand's channel on Saturdays. And Saturday nights, I play over at Plot Hunters, where we're going through Tyranny of Dragons. We're an all LGBTQ and POC channel, so if you like supporting those spaces, please come watch us. A lot of shenanigans. I hit a lot of things because I'm a buff barbarian babe and I love it. Other than that, you can also find me on Twitch at my own channel where I do art and draw, and we just chill and talk about stuff. And I have some cool lo-fi music there, so yeah, come hang out. That's me.
Thank you for coming. I was again going to say Jacer. Kenny?
Kenny just plays Jacer so well.
I know, it's...
Thank you. No, this has been so great. Thank you all. My name is Kenny. You can find me on Twitter at PunderDrone. When I am not playing this amazing, wonderful, fantastic game with these amazing, wonderful, fantastic folk, I am on the Experience Points channel. You can find us at twitch.tv/Experience Points. I am the narrator for our Starfinder game, which we play every other Saturday. You can find out more information about us on Twitter at EQ Points.
Thank you for coming for a third season, Kenny. And up next is Pooja.
Hi everyone, I'm Pooja, and as heartbroken as I am to have to leave this wonderful game with these wonderful people for the time being, I am elsewhere on the internet pretty much constantly. You can find me on Tuesdays playing Flights of Fandom on the Manapot Studios channel. We have our season finale. I know there's a lot of change going on this week. Our season finale of our current Star Wars run, and then for October we're doing What We Do in the Shadows because we wanted to do something spooky but funny. So the month of October will be that, and generally we do short 4 to 6 weeks or sometimes one-shot little arcs from all these different fandoms that we're trying to reclaim from perhaps crappy creators, crappy fandoms, whatever. You know, it's essentially fan fiction role play with OCs. It's great. I love it. So come watch that on Tuesdays, and then every other Friday you can find me also on the Manapot Studios channel playing a vampire in medieval Constantinople in the campaign Constantinople by Night, which has, like I says, every other Friday. So I think we're probably going to go through mid-November. So you can find me there. And for other escapades as they come, you can stay tuned to my Twitter, which is a very simple account. It is at Pooja. So it's pretty easy to find me on the internet. But I hope to hear from you and look forward to doing more stuff with these fine folk sometime down the road.
Indeed, I look forward to it as well. Thank you for coming. I think we'll keep our host for last. We'll skip over to the Contessa.
Sure, okay, I'll embrace
Deirdre.
that. No, I'll take the title. My name is now officially the Contessa. It's fine. But hey, all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre Donlan on Twitter. Praxagorath has me for you. See me around on Twitch. And thank you all for having so much fun. And thank you all for playing this game because I love it so much. And I love all of your characters. And I know the Contessa is a lot, but it's so much fun. And thank you, everyone who donated to bring all of those revelations in for that last moment. It's great. Now we all be fancy. As for me, you can find me on Wednesday over on Laugh Love Lindy's channel for some Witcher Family of Wraiths. Fingers crossed that the internet is actually working and that we will have our season finale of that, because there are four Witchers, a giant thing that looks like a spider the size of a mountain, and a banshee, and some mage siblings around. It's not a good thing. It's not a good day. It'll be hard. And then I'll be back here Thursday for some interesting times with the Thirst crew as things get weird there. And then I'll find out if I'm back here on Friday. And then Saturday is the premiere over on my channel at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific of the first long-running campaign I'm going to run on my own channel. The Regiment is a hack of Green Ronin's Sword Chronicle with Good Society, and it's basically a game about the Peninsular campaign of the Napoleonic Wars. If you've ever read the Sharp books or seen the Sharp movies, Horatio Hornblower, Master and Commander, all of those things with the drama of Jane Austen and kind of all thrown together and shaken up, and it will be an event is what we're going to do with it. I'm sure it'll all work out fine. And as Simon said, we did actually have a episode of Witcher on my channel on Saturday, the VOD of which is still up, but I also put it up on the nominal YouTube channel I have. It is a flashback within the Witcher Family of Wraiths universe. And it was quite entertaining. And apparently disconcerting for some people.
Who found it disconcerting?
Some people, i.e. you, said that they were slightly disconcerted at certain things that may have shown up very large that you ended up having to fight.
Oh! Thank you for coming for a third season, Deirdre. Chris, our host, thank you so much. And thank you for introducing me to Castle Falkenstein.
You're very welcome. Thank you for taking a chance on me when I offered to run it for season 1. It's been a blast, 3 seasons going. I'm looking forward to season 4. Sometime late winter, early spring, we will be back. And I look forward to seeing where this takes us. Maybe Rome, maybe somewhere else. Who knows? You can find me playing the Doctor, aka Mr. White, on Cyberpunk Red on Fridays, either starting this week or next. And there will be a promo video coming out related to that. So look for that on Simon's Twitter, mine, and possibly Anino's as well. We will be using it to hype up season 3. And then the revelation I have for all of you is that there is a possibility of another Castle Falkenstein stream, potentially on a different channel during the break between seasons 3 and 4. If that happens, it will be a coordinating story, something that you will be able to learn things about, all kinds of shenanigans that might intersect with what you've seen in seasons 1 through 3. If it happens, it'll be lovely. If it doesn't, we'll see. But it is an all cosplay show if it does happen. I pitched it to O Adelaide. Don't pester her about it, but definitely, look for that on my Twitter feed. I'll announce it if it is selected to be part of that run. So, thank you all for everything. And thank you, Simon.
No problem. All of you are always welcome back at my table and on the channel. Speaking of table and channel, we have a bunch of things coming up. This Thursday is the penultimate episode of Dragon Age Search for Anders. Then on Friday, it is still up in the air. It will be confirmed tomorrow whether or not we play Cyberpunk this coming Friday because of changes with COVID and everything that occurred today. My work schedule got shifted again, and everything is up in the air for now. So we might be able to, we might not. I'll know tomorrow.
And if you haven't checked them out yet, this is me shilling for our dear friend Anino. Go check out those flash fics that he's been posting.
You can find them on Anino's Twitter or on my Twitter as well. I retweet them, and I think Chris and Deirdre do so as well. So with that said, on Saturday this week, there's nothing, but there will be an announcement, hopefully on Saturday, for a new show starting on Saturday afternoons to replace our Black Flag campaign. It will be actually on the Level Up Dice channel, as we are entering a sort of bigger partnership with them. So keep an eye out for that. And then next Monday,